Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel for OCD Recovery. Today I just want to jump on here and make a quick video about the power of delay. One of my favorite Stoic quotes is by Seneca: the best remedy for anger is delay. I tell a lot of people in the calls that if I was to kind of rephrase that, the best remedy for your OCD and anxiety recovery and life overhaul, which is what OCD recovery is a delay of response in a moment of turmoil. Because it has to be worded that way, because a lot of people delay with procrastination. But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about specific cases where people are procrastinating a lot. I'm talking about people that get really angry, they're very anxious, they have a lot of shame, and the urgency during a massive OCD and anxiety spike wants them to act right now. And the remedy is delay and feeling, as we say, wearing it like an uncomfortable coat. That's not the full remedy for OCD and anxiety recovery, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. Before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button down below. Please message phil@ocdrecovery.com. You do not have to sit in silence. Again, we work all over the world. There's not a single OCD or anxiety organization that has the reach that we do. We work in over 80 countries basically at this point. I mean, there's a lot of countries I work with that I was like, wait, where is that? I mean, I'm very grateful for my experience. And we can do translators. We can help you. We've all had OCD. We've walked the depths of this journey. I understand firsthand how hard it is to practice delay. So I struggled massively with anger. Delay is most important for anger. Anger, vengeance, rage. How many people have done something out of a loss of control during an extremely angry act, punched or hit someone, and that person got really hurt and then that person went to jail? More than you think. Or road rage, or with weapons in America, with shootings, all sorts of stuff. Violence, gang violence, bar fights under alcohol. A lot of bad things have happened under extreme anger, which is so sad and so unfortunate until it's too late. And then we have to deal with the repercussions. As Jim Rohn says, the number one sign of human maturity is responsibility. So if you do something wrong, you just have to suck it up and deal with that responsibility. Acceptance doesn't mean agreement. Anyway, so it took me about half a decade to practice this. Half a decade. I'm not saying it's going to take you 5 years to work on it. Throughout that 5 years, it was like Erica was saying on the webinar yesterday, friends and family, it's like the stock market, right? It's not perfect in this way. It's kind of like, it's all over the place. But to where I am today, where 99% of the time, because I am a human, you're not going to be a stoic robot. I've heard world-renowned authors say stoicism, because they just don't have an understanding of it, means loss of emotion. You become a robot. If you look at me and see how I am, my animation and how I speak, my hand gestures, how you doing, bada bing, you could tell that there's no roboticness to that. So it is most authors who bash Stoicism, have never practiced it for long enough because they have low frustration tolerance and really do not understand it. Even some of the best speakers on Stoicism, in my opinion, still don't understand Stoicism, how I interpret it. But that's a different story. So, but when you have that anger and when you have that vengeance, it's a skill. But Nick, I have a question. How do I practice that? You have to learn it. If I showed up, I was on the call yesterday with someone, we were speaking about this. I said, if I showed up to Germany tomorrow, how do I speak German? You're going to look at me like I'm crazy. You have to get the books, go to classes, engage in the culture, speak it, learn the dialect. It's probably going to take you a couple years to become fluent in German. That's the reality of it. And this is no different. It's going to take a while to build the skill of delay, which means A, activating event, anything where there's a sense of urgency or trigger, equals B, I'm not going to act on this right now. It's very uncomfortable, but I'm going to try my best to delay it, and equals C, which is your emotional consequence. You'll learn this when the book's over here. It's underneath a couple other books. The first book on the reading list, How to Stubbornly Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable About Anything. And a book that's not on the reading list, which I do love, read the books on the reading list first, How to Control Your Anger Before It Controls You by Ellis. Again, the main books on the reading list are most important, but if you struggle with anger and vengeance, in that perspective, that book is a great adjunct. I've read it about 3 or 4 times. And when you have that rational belief of, I really don't like this, I feel like an atomic bomb is going off inside of me, but I'm going to learn to delay, that changes your C, your emotional consequence. Because all of us as human beings believe that A directly equals C. Activating events equal consequence. You said this, you offended me, that directly made me angry. And although there is truth in that, your belief system is what causes the internal temperature in your body to really go from irritation to extreme rage and anger. Yes, there's also an automatic learned response from your behavioral patterns, acting angry, yelling in YouTube comments, calling people fucking idiots, screaming at your friends and family, yelling at your pets, all sorts of stuff. So I'm not going to go into the interworkings and mechanics of how this operates because there's multiple pieces. But you are learning to wear that as best as you can as you go out about your day. And I'm telling you, you're not going to get this right for a long time. Delaying your response in any sort of emotional disturbance is something that humans, if I was grading an overall test, 99.9%, my favorite statistic to say, would get an F, an F minus. I was the same way. I would have gotten an F minus. I just got a 0. They would have crumpled my test up and threw it right back in my fucking face. So it's going to take time to practice this. Again, Nick, you just got to go out there and try. When you feel the urge to say something, you have to wear it. This is one of the most important things you can do for your life. Phil at OCDrecovery.com. Hope to hear from you soon. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.